Ladies and gentlemen, today I invite you to travel back in time, to step into the shoes of a young boy, poor, uneducated, with no privilege, no fortune, and no name. That boy was Andrew Carnegie. From poverty in Scotland to the steel mills of Pittsburgh, he rose to become one of the wealthiest men in history. But wealth was not his only gift. His life carried lessons, principles, truths that can lift any man or woman from despair to greatness. And so today, I speak not only of Carnegie the billionaire, but of Carnegie the teacher. For hidden in his journey are 5 principles that can change your destiny, if only you will listen and apply them. Principle 1. The power of self-education. Andrew Carnegie was too poor for school, too poor for tutors, too poor for a formal education. But he was not too poor to learn, because he discovered the library of Colonel James Anderson. Every Saturday night, Colonel Anderson opened his private library to working boys. And young Andrew was there. He worked 12 hours a day in a cotton factory, but he still walked to that library. He borrowed books. He carried them home like treasure. He read, and as he read, his mind expanded beyond the factory walls. Change voice, Carnegie. Here was the opening wide of the treasure house of knowledge. Here was my university, the only one I ever had. Back to narrator. Carnegie reminds us, knowledge is the great equalizer. The man who cannot read is no worse off than the man who can read and does not. So principle number 1, never stop learning. Educate yourself beyond your environment. Do not wait for permission to learn. Knowledge is already waiting for you. Seize it, live it, apply it. Principle 2, vision and goal setting. Carnegie did not dream small dreams. He did not see himself as a worker forever. He envisioned more. As a teenager, he wrote a declaration that he would devote the first half of his life to earning money and the second half of his life to giving it away. Think of the power of that vision. At an age when most boys dreamed of comfort, he dreamed of destiny. Change voice, Carnegie. The man who dies rich dies disgraced. Back to narrator. Carnegie saw beyond wealth. His goal was not money for money's sake. His goal was impact, legacy, contribution. So principle number 2, write your vision. Define your life's purpose. Do not stumble blindly through existence. See your future in your mind first, and then pursue it with all your might. Principle 3, hard work and discipline. Andrew Carnegie worked 12 hours a day from the age of 13. He earned $1.20 a week. But he did not complain. He learned, he observed, he improved. He entered the railroad industry. He studied accounting at night. He mastered telegraphy. He was disciplined when others were careless. He worked when others rested. Success is built on discipline. Discipline is the bridge between vision and reality. And Carnegie's discipline carried him from the cotton mill to the boardroom. Principle 4, strategic investment and risk-taking. Carnegie was not reckless, but he was not afraid of risk. He invested in the Bessemer process of steel-making when others doubted. He took risks when others hesitated. And in those risks, he found fortune. Principle number 4, do not fear risk. Fear stagnation. Invest wisely. Take bold action. Fortune favors the brave. Principle 5, giving back. At the height of his wealth, Carnegie gave away more than 90% of his fortune. He built libraries, universities, foundations. He believed that wealth was a trust, not a possession, that the rich were merely stewards, not owners. Change voice, Carnegie. The man who dies rich dies disgraced. Back to narrator. And so the final principle is giving. To rise is not enough. To share is the true measure of greatness. Conclusion. Andrew Carnegie rose from poverty to become a billionaire. But more than his wealth, it is his principles that endure. Self-education, vision, discipline, risk, and giving. These are not just his laws, they can be yours if you choose them, if you live them, if you act on them today. So
And now,
I ask you,
let us begin with the
what
very
will you
first
do with your
principle that
life?
carried Andrew
Will you
Carnegie
waste
from
your
the dark
hours in
mines of
distraction,
Scotland
or
to the
will you
shining
build a
towers of
destiny
industry in
that
America?
echoes beyond your years?
Principle 1.
The
A
choice
clear vision
is yours.
and a definite goal. Every great achievement in history, every empire, every invention, every fortune began not with money nor with luck, but with a vision. Carnegie, as a young immigrant, did not possess wealth. He did not inherit power. What he carried was something invisible, yet priceless. It was the picture in his mind of a better future. He was a boy working 12 hours a day in a factory. The noise of the machines filled his ears. The smell of sweat and smoke filled his lungs. But in the silence of his imagination, he saw something greater. He saw himself no longer pushing machines, but building enterprises, no longer begging for wages, but employing thousands. Carnegie wrote his dream down, he spoke it to himself, and he carried it like a torch through every dark moment. Understand this truth. A man without a goal is like a ship without a compass. It may float, it may move, but it will never arrive. Yet a man with a clear goal, even if he begins poor, tired, and unknown, will be guided step by step toward his destination. Ask yourself now, what is the picture you carry? Do you know with certainty where you wish to arrive, or are you drifting, allowing the winds of chance to decide your fate? Carnegie's secret was not merely dreaming, it was deciding. He decided with unwavering faith that he would rise. He decided that poverty was not his destiny. And once he decided, the world began to shape itself around that decision. He once said, "But I'm for the highest, for there is plenty of room at the top." And so I ask you, are you aiming high enough, or are you settling for less than what your soul demands? Close your eyes for a moment. Picture the life you desire. Not the life others expect from you, but the one you truly wish to live. See it in detail, feel it, let it burn in your heart until it becomes unshakable. That is your beginning. That is your compass. And remember this, a definite goal, held with faith, is stronger than any obstacle. A vision without persistence is like a flame in the wind. It flickers, and it dies. Andrew Carnegie guarded his vision as a sacred fire. He returned to it every night, whispering to himself what he would one day achieve. Others around him laughed. They said, "But ah, poor boy, a son of a weaver, how could you rise among the great men of industry?" But Carnegie understood a law of life. That which the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. He filled his mind daily with pictures of success. He studied the lives of great men. He read books by candlelight after exhausting days in the factory, and slowly, opportunity began to appear, not by chance, but by preparation. For the man who holds a definite goal will recognize doors that others overlook. Here is the lesson for you. Do not despise small beginnings. The seed of an oak tree is small. The first step of a 1,000-mile journey is small. But what matters is not the size of the beginning. It is the direction. So I ask you once more, where are you headed? Have you written your vision? Have you decided upon your definite goal? If not, then begin today. Take a sheet of paper. Write clearly what you desire most in life. Wealth, health, influence, wisdom. It matters not what others think of it. What matters is that you claim it with conviction as yours. Carnegie did this. He declared his vision, and once declared, every choice he made, every sacrifice, every effort was weighed against that vision. Does this action take me closer or farther? If closer, he embraced it. If farther, he rejected it. This is the power of a definite aim. It gives clarity. It turns confusion into focus. It turns weakness into strength. And so, the first principle is clear. Have a vision, write it, believe it, protect it, and act upon it daily. Now, let us move to the second principle. Principle 2. Mastering the power of knowledge. Carnegie knew that vision alone was not enough. A dream without skill is like a bird without wings. To rise, you must learn. To lead, you must understand. Though he was poor, Carnegie educated himself relentlessly. He borrowed books, he studied science, history, philosophy. More importantly, he studied men, their motives, their desires, their fears. He once said, "But the man who acquires the ability to take full possession of his own mind may take possession of anything else to which he is justly entitled." Carnegie's wealth was not built merely on steel. It was built on knowledge. Knowledge of markets, knowledge of people, knowledge of himself. So, devote yourself to learning, read daily, listen deeply, observe carefully, make your mind a treasury of wisdom, and you will never be poor. Carnegie, despite his fortune, said that libraries were his greatest gift to mankind. Why? Because he knew that within books lay the keys to transformation. Ask yourself, what books shape your vision? What teachers guide your path? Choose them wisely, for they will determine the limits of your growth. Carnegie's hunger for knowledge never ended. Even as he began to earn more money, he refused to waste it on fleeting pleasures. Instead, he invested it in books, in newspapers, in conversations with men wiser than himself. One evening, as the story goes, he sat in a cramped boarding house room reading late into the night. His friends mocked him. They said, "But Andrew, why waste your time? You've worked all day, rest, enjoy yourself." But Carnegie answered, "But I cannot rest until I have filled my mind with the very substance of my future wealth." He was right. For the poor man who fills his mind with wisdom is rich already, and the rich man who neglects knowledge is but a beggar waiting for misfortune. Carnegie's thirst for learning brought him into contact with great mentors. He did not hide his ignorance. He admitted what he did not know and asked questions. This is a lesson for you. Never be ashamed of what you do not know. Be ashamed only if you refuse to learn over time. He mastered not only the business of steel, but the business of men. He learned how to recognize talent, how to inspire loyalty, how to place the right man in the right position. This wisdom, he later said, was worth more than gold. It was his belief in knowledge that led him to build libraries across America. He wanted the poor, the dreamers, the workers, to have access to the same treasure chest that had lifted him. A library card became a key to freedom, a book became a mentor, a page became a door to a better life. So I ask you, what is your library? It may not be of stone and brick, it may be digital, it may be a notebook filled with lessons, a collection of voices that inspire you. Guard it, feed it, expand it. For one day your success will be built upon the foundation of what you have stored in your mind. And remember this law: knowledge unused is wasted. Reading alone is not enough. Listening alone is not enough. You must act upon what you learn. Apply it, test it, fail with it, rise again with it. This is how wisdom is forged. Carnegie did not only read about leadership, he practiced it. He did not only study industry, he built it. And through this marriage of knowledge and action, he rose higher than any could have imagined. Thus, the second principle is this: commit yourself to lifelong learning. Let every day add something to your mind, and let every lesson be translated into action. Principle 3. The power of people and alliances. Andrew Carnegie once said, "But the man who dies rich dies disgraced. But the man who builds men builds a fortune that lasts beyond him." From the very beginning, Carnegie understood that no empire is built by one man alone. The boy with a vision and a mind hungry for knowledge needed something more. He needed people. He learned to surround himself with those who were stronger where he was weak: engineers, visionaries, organizers, financiers. He found them, trusted them, and gave them responsibility. Many businessmen of his time held tightly to control, afraid that others might outshine them. Carnegie, however, rejoiced when others shone, for their light only increased his own. This is the third principle. Build alliances, gather a team, create relationships that multiply your strength. Think of it this way. A single thread is weak, but weave many threads together, and you have a rope strong enough to lift the heaviest burden. So it is with men alone. You may falter, together you may conquer. Carnegie's genius was not in doing everything himself, it was in recognizing greatness in others. He would look a man in the eye and see not who he was, but who he could become. Then, with encouragement and trust, he gave that man a chance to rise. This philosophy built his empire, and it can build yours. Pause for a moment and reflect. Who are the people around you? Do they lift you higher or pull you lower? Do they challenge you to grow or chain you to comfort? Choose your associations carefully, for they will shape your destiny more than you imagine. Carnegie built friendships with leaders, thinkers, inventors. He sought the counsel of men like Thomas Edison. He learned from rivals as much as from allies. And he built networks that carried him to opportunities no single man could reach. So, Principle 3 is clear. Do not walk alone. Build a circle of strength, and together rise. Carnegie once remarked, "But it marks a big step in your development when you come to realize that other people can help you do a better job than you could do alone." He lived by this truth while others spent energy competing with everyone. Carnegie invested energy in building trust, loyalty, and shared vision. He was not the strongest engineer. He was not the best accountant. He was not the most skilled in